I love open world games. In fact, one of my favorite moments in open world gaming history was November of 2011 when I first booted up Skyrim on the very first day. I remember I got through the intro sequence, and Riverwood was the first town I found, and I'll never forget, it was my favorite part in the game. I went to the innkeeper, I talked to him, and then I found out that in order to unlock his quest line, I had to pay a microtransaction of just a little $40 payment. Not much at all. I mean, this really got me into the game. This really built on the immersiveness of the beautiful game that was Skyrim. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, I am obviously kidding. That would be completely and utterly ridiculous, but that seems to actually be somewhat of the reality of the upcoming Star Wars open world game. Now, I had never heard about this game, but it is called Star Wars Outlaws. It was actually announced back in 2021. I guess I am living under a rock, but it is due to be released on August 30th, so about 4 or 5 months from now. It is actually going to be the first ever open world Star Wars game. The premise of it sounds very cool, but if the recent Star Wars Battlefront atrocity wasn't enough for Star Wars games, this game, just 4 or 5 months before its launch, is already catching some L's, because today it has been big news that it has been announced already by the game developers that there is going to be like a quest or a storyline or a mission called Jabba's Gambit that is going to be available on day one, but it is going to be locked behind a paywall, because in order to play it, you have to buy the Season Pass. Now, to get the Season Pass on day one, you either have to buy the $109 Gold Edition of the game or the $129 Ultimate Edition, rather than just the $70 base game. Now, doing the math and adding on a little bit of tax, that means that you will have to pay an extra $40 or a little bit more just to play this mission. Now, I know what you're thinking already. That sounds great. Sign me up. I love to spend my money. But it gets better. In addition to that, it is not going to be just this Jabba's Gambit mission, but this Season Pass is also promised to include 2 post-launch quest lines or narrative expansions, and this is also going to include various cosmetic items. Now, this to me is actually kind of worse than if they were to, say, just lock this one little mission, the Jabba mission, behind this one paywall. Because this, to me, that they're saying that there's going to be additional quest lines down the road that's only going to be accessible through this Season Pass, that to me says that this game could launch basically incomplete, like we've seen with some other games, and that in order to really get into the game, to really get immersed into some of the awesome quest lines that it will offer, well, you gotta buy the Season Pass. Like I said, that kind of is worse than just if it was one little, like, bonus mission. I mean, already it is kind of weird. I'll actually say it's very weird that they are gonna have a Season Pass in what I am seeing anyway as just a single-player game. I don't see anything about a multiplayer expansion or like a multiplayer mode. So yeah, this looks like just a single-player game, you know, like a Skyrim or a Fallout. I mean, I get post-launch DLC, I do get that, but having a Season Pass and even having something like having cosmetics for your single-player immersive game locked behind a paywall, locked behind a Season Pass post-launch, I don't know, that's just weird. So yeah, a lot of people, like I said, have already been raising the massive red flag on this game. It is not looking good for them. I really don't understand what it is with Star Wars games that have just, I don't know, not been doing great recently. It is really too bad. I think Star Wars itself is awesome. And for video games, I mean, they've got great potential, and they have had great video games in the past. But I don't know, you got this, you got Star Wars Battlefront, you even got the Knights of the Old Republic remake that, I don't know, hasn't been sounding too great recently. So we'll just have to wait and see, but I kind of want to end on a positive note, as I try to do, with seemingly negative videos like this. And that is to point out that this game releases in about 4 or 5 months. That, to me, is plenty of time for them to get things in order and change things up. They don't have to, you know, go exactly by what they are saying today. They can change it up. They can make this Jabba mission available on day one by everybody. I mean, I get it, money talks, but at the same time, a lot of people are not too happy about this. And hey, you're probably going to get less people that want to buy the game now. So hopefully they change this. Hopefully they do a big 180 on what people are seeing as just another cash grab, unfortunately, for the Star Wars series.